Hi, my name is Jim and I was retired. Now, last week I reviewed one of the best options for planning a Roth conversion, one that helps you decide how much Roth conversion makes sense for you this tax year. In this video, I'm going to look at some of the runners-up that I found. So stay tuned and I'll look at more ways to plan Roth conversions. Now, I began my search for more Roth conversion calculators at boglehead.org and their list of possible conversion calculators. And it includes one that I'll show to you today, the Fidelity calculator. I would note that it doesn't include one I found from Schwab. And it includes this one from CalcXML. And the first time I tried to use it, it seemed to generate more pop-up ads than useful information. But I was able to run the engine and began to test it with some numbers, but I couldn't figure out how to tell it how much of my IRA I wanted to convert. So never mind. Please like and subscribe to this channel if you like entertaining ideas from a DIY retiree. I'm not trying to sell you a course. I'm simply sharing my perspectives to help you plan for your own DIY retirement. Now, let's move on to the two potential tools that I want to show in this video from Fidelity and Schwab. Now, we'll begin with the Fidelity.com Roth IRA conversion calculator. And I'll put links to all of these down in the notes so you can test it yourself. Now, it begins right here with the right question. How much are you considering converting? Interestingly, it doesn't ask you for the size of your IRA. It just says how much you're going to convert. It doesn't give you any help in deciding how much to convert. I went back to last week's NewRetirement calculator and figured out that my wife could convert $6,500 from her traditional IRA and we would still stay within the 12% tax bracket. So I'm going to use a set of numbers based on that model and I'm going to test it with both Fidelity and Schwab and see what I come up with. Now, one important factor is whether the IRA has a non-deductible contribution in it. And that can complicate the calculations. And fortunately, we can answer no. These are traditional IRAs with all pre-tax dollars in them. Then it asks you for your estimated rate of return for not only the invested Roth money that you're going to convert, but also the money that you'll be using to pay the taxes now. Is it coming out of a bank or an investment account? So we plug those in, and it finally asks about your current federal and state tax brackets. Now, it enters what you put in, so are you sure you're in the 12% tax bracket after this conversion? It offers no help on that. And also on the state pull-down menu, they're single digits, so I couldn't enter the actual New Jersey bracket number that I'm in now and that I'll be in the future, which comes up to the second step of this process is to enter how many years you intend to keep the money invested in the Roth. And I'll put 10 years because this is bucket 3 assets that I'm moving from tax deferred to tax free. And I expect not to need this money for 10 years. So how did I determine the future tax brackets? Well, my own DIY retirement withdrawal strategy spreadsheet includes estimates of future income and tax brackets 10 years out. And I'm using those numbers. I'm estimating 25% for federal and 5% for state tax brackets. It really is 5.25%, but Fidelity only allows me to pull down single digits. Now, the third step in the Fidelity tool shows you that the estimated taxes due now would be about $845 from your taxable account. And based on the 25% tax bracket that I entered in the prior screen, it estimates that we will end up with $2,396 more after taxes than if we didn't convert the money from the traditional IRA to the Roth IRA. Now, the slide there that I'll show you allows you to quickly determine how much more you would save if you were in a higher tax bracket than you thought. Again, I don't want to save more in this way. I'm going to use the 25% tax bracket that I expect to be in. This highlights, though, the key reason to do a Roth conversion. If you are in a lower tax bracket now and expect to be in a higher tax bracket later after RMDs and Social Security, for instance, then it makes sense to pay the tax now rather than in 10 years. Now, the PDF printout of the Fidelity results notes this, quote, "A Roth conversion may have secondary impacts, including but not limited to increasing your current income and the tax bracket for the year in which the conversion is performed." Duh, it doesn't help you avoid it. It also says that if you are in or near retirement, a Roth conversion may also impact the taxability of Social Security benefits, the cost of Medicare Part C, I think they mean Part B and Part D premiums through the IRMA, income-related monthly adjustment amounts that we covered in last week's video. But this tool offers no help on those subjects. Now let's take a look at the Schwab Roth Conversion Calculator. This one has similar inputs. It asks about your current taxable income before the conversion, though, so that it can determine what tax bracket you are in and whether the calculation after the conversion stays within that same bracket. Note that the Fidelity didn't have that option. You just entered a number. Schwab's tool also allows me to enter accurate tax brackets for the state now and in the future. I can put in a real number, not just a pull-down number. And on the right, it shows that the estimated future value of the converted assets is $1,941 more than if you had left the assets in the traditional IRA. And it confirms that we will stay within the 12% tax bracket after the conversion. Now, lower on the same page, it's a terrible web design, actually. It scrolls too much on one page. It asks about time horizon and risk, how long funds will remain in the Roth IRA before withdrawal, and the expected returns. And we'll enter the same numbers, 10 years. And here it shows on the right that based on the amount you want to convert, you would owe approximately $780 in federal taxes and another $81 in state taxes. Now that's close enough to the Fidelity calculator. Recall that the $845 in estimated taxes on the Fidelity calculator was based on the tax brackets that I could enter into that engine. Now you can also print out a PDF of this report to review, but neither Fidelity nor Schwab helps with all the nuances of a Roth conversion, including those tripwires for avoiding IRMA charges in future years for your Medicare premiums, or staying within a 0% capital gains tax bracket, if that matters to you. NewRetirement Calculator included all of those. And it was the only way to calculate the right amount and stay within the 12% tax bracket. On the Schwab tool, you could do that with a trial and error. In Fidelity, it took your guess of what your tax bracket is and then didn't validate whether you'd stay in that tax bracket. So NewRetirement allowed me to target the exact amount that I wanted to convert to stay within not only the 12% tax bracket, but to stay within the 0% capital gains bracket. I'm still convinced this is the best engine out there to use in planning your Roth conversions. Fidelity and Schwab both have work to do to catch up to NewRetirement on this front. Hey, please leave a comment below about what engine you're using to calculate the ideal Roth conversion in your DIY retirement. I will conclude with my standard warning. I have no initials after my name, so take these as entertaining ideas from one educated consumer to another. Always do your own due diligence and seek out a professional if you need one.